Hi, this is Nick Lowry. We're going to take another look at Debana. This is a method of building those perceptions and the reactions to them that takes an incremental approach. So in order to exploit those momentary changes that occur as the man's reaching to grip you or setting his foot or lifting from the back leg, as he makes those little changes that we talked about in the previous video that are the opportunities of moments of attack, then we have to learn to be able to react to those with the sufficient timing and placement of our body to exploit them. But it's very, very difficult to do in the form that I just demonstrated it, where you just go immediately to it. You have to actually build it incrementally. And so one way to demonstrate this is to work with, for instance, like a foot stop or a foot sweep. If we're moving together in a basic form, let's say we're square with each other, and we're just taking a side step. We sidestep together. And we could train with this increment of sidestep, which is natural side step, for a long time. And as our feet move, I just want to get used to touching. Just touching. Just touching. And following that timing of that step. Over time, we're going to have the uke change. So he's going to be uke, and he's going to make that same movement, but good. Now make it about half that big. Yeah. And I got to follow that. Good. Good. So I got to learn to move in tandem with his move, even if it's small. Now he makes it smaller. Good. 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 And smaller yet. Good. And so he's making the same thing from a wide step to a smaller step to a smaller step to just a weight shift. Till all you're seeing is just a little moment of shift like this. If you've trained progressively in this way and you've watched him carefully, you take a large step like this, it's fine. He takes a smaller step like this, it's fine again. He takes a smaller step, fine again. A smaller one, fine again. So you really don't care too much. Eventually you're just reaching out, you're grabbing, and he just makes a weight shift. And there we are. So basically you start by building from success. Build from the big throw, here from the big sweep, and then make it a little smaller. Smaller yet. Smaller yet. Smaller yet. Yeah. Right off to the races. You can also alter with the posture. So he's working upright, but he could be all bent over in the defensive mode, right? And you're saying, well, how do you do here? Well, it's the same basically. We start with a big step. We get used to that. And then smaller. And then smaller. And then smaller. And then smaller. And he can tell you, it really doesn't matter whether they're bent over and defensive or pushing or pulling. If he moves that foot and it tracks just say an inch or so, you're going to have the same opportunity as when it travels what seems like a mile. But you have to begin with the big and work progressively smaller in increments. Each action that you're working with, each action of attack is the same. So when you begin it, for say the very first move as his foot strikes the ground, that one, he takes a natural size step. Boom. And you get very comfortable at interrupting that just as it touches the ground. Boom. Boom. And over time, maybe he makes a smaller step. Whoa, there we go. I need to watch. Boom. 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 Good. And over time, you just make the increment a little tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter each time. You begin with the back foot rising. So let's say that he picks his back foot up, woo, and you catch it. He makes his back foot up, woo, we catch it again. Woo, we catch it again. He can tell you, it's very consistent, whether he's trying to lift and swing a long way, or just, if he's just shifting, lifting the back foot up to shift an inch, it really won't matter. Whether he's intending to lift and swing through, or just lift and settle back down, whether that rise happening on that back foot is going to be a large action, or whether it's just going to be a small action, will become meaningless after a time. The gripping function, whether he's reaching in with a long grip like this, or he's making a short little grip like this, little tight, fast grip, doesn't really matter. Start big and obvious, and then he makes a shorter action, he makes a shorter action, he makes a shorter action, he makes a tight little action. Really doesn't matter too much. Same thing with release of grip. How do you make a big release grip versus a little? I don't know. It's an off-on function. So if he is in a gripping state, and let's say he lets go to start reaching down to take a different grip on me somewhere, boom, like this. It's just a short little transit time. Really doesn't matter too much. As soon as that grip goes, he becomes vulnerable. So grip is one of those functions. It's like, well, you know, is he just letting go to reach over the top? That's very popular. Make a big grip like that. You could start with a very large action like that and work from it. But then you could have a set of smaller actions where you're just trying to change from here to here, for instance, to go to from a collar to a sleeve, or from a sleeve to a collar. Doesn't matter. As soon as that grip changes, off to the races we go. As soon as the grip changes, off to the races we go. So work from large, broad actions, incrementally bring them down tighter and tighter and tighter, smaller, until your tolerances of perception of what's going on become very fine-tuned. And then you'll have a nice throwing game using Debana and finding those chance opportunities every time you turn around. Because in reality, every time they're moving, every time they're rising, falling, gripping or not gripping, every time their eyes open wide or blink tight down, every time they push, every time they pull, every time they try to lift, all of these are moments of opportunity, of Debana, of chance, of being able to just scoop through and do your action. So, work with that, see what you can.